Welcome to the recording for virtual open house for Miss Syvrud's math classes. Hi, I'm Miss Syvrud. These are some pictures of me when I don't have a mask on, so you can recognize me in real life. Just a brief introduction. I love being outside. I definitely have a sweet tooth, and playing games, watching Netflix are some of my favorite hobbies when I'm not in school and working on that sort of stuff. This is my classroom, and this is what it looks like this year. So a few alterations. As you walk into the door, you can kind of see the corner of my doorway in the bottom picture, bottom left. There's a spot for students for each class that I teach where they can grab handouts and turn in late work. But in addition to that, there's hand sanitizer there, and that will be there all year. I encourage students when you come in, before you almost really get into my classroom, please take a pump of hand sanitizer to sanitize. And then you'll also notice my desks. Every desk that doesn't have an X on it is where students can sit. The X desks are not for student use. Those are going to help us socially distance. And I'm leaving those desks there so that students cannot accidentally push desks closer together. So that they stay socially distant. So there is 6 feet from the back of one desk that a student would sit in to the back of the next desk that a student might be sitting in. And you can see the desks and the classroom behind kind of where I sit in my desk. Oh, all of the big questions, safety and social distancing. We're doing a lot in our classrooms to be careful to follow safety protocols and to maintain social distancing. So safety protocols, all students must be wearing masks while in class. Obviously, if you're going to take a drink or blow your nose, that's going to have to come off temporarily or be pushed up. Maybe you can get a drink without completely taking your mask off. That would be best. We know that there'll be a few exceptions of people who have special situations, but those will be rare, and that'll go through the district. Again, hand sanitizer is available, and I recommend that everyone use it as you enter the class. That'll just help keep us all safe. And then desks will be cleaned between classes as well to help limit spread. Social distancing, the desks are 6 feet apart. So that's the easiest way to social distance is come into class, go to your desk, and stay there as much as possible. Obviously, got to get up occasionally, and I get that. But the more you can stay in your desk, the more you're guaranteeing yourself social distancing. And then the other ask is that, you're limiting how much you're getting up. So, you might have to sharpen your pencil, use the bathroom, all of that has to happen. But try and limit that. Try not to get out of your desk unnecessarily. The other ask that I would make is if you are going to get out of your desk, please be careful that, wait till there aren't other people up and about, and that if there is someone else out of their desk, that you would stay 6 feet away from them while you're out of your desk. So we're trying to maintain social distancing even if we are getting up and moving around. This year we will be using a hybrid model to start the school year, and we have opted for a block schedule to try and limit how many times students are switching classes and having to be moving in the halls and having a higher exposure rate. Here's a quick overview of what a weekly schedule would look like. Students are either in school Monday and Tuesday or Thursday and Friday, and then they'll be attending half of their classes on Monday and then the other half on Tuesday. So students would attend a maximum of 4 classes each in-person day. And then the days that they're not in person, they would be working online on posted materials there. Okay. What class might look like this trimester? So obviously we're switching to a hybrid schedule. So students will be in class for 105-minute class period a week. So they'll have half their classes one day, the other half the next, and then the other 2 days a week they'll be doing online learning. So my goal is that in class we're doing things like asking questions, giving students a chance to check in. If they have a question from the online work they did the previous days, they can ask those questions. We can get students on track. Some socially distanced activities. Luckily, we've got some technology resources such as Google Docs and other activities so that we can still have students collaborating together, but we'll use technology to bridge that distance gap versus actually becoming, working in physically small groups. We'll do a lot of individual check-ins. My goal is to have a chance to check in with every student every time they're in my classroom. That way we can get an update on what are they working on, where are they at, and what do they need from me to be successful. We'll maybe do some mini lessons or reviews or kind of getting ready for lessons to come. We might preview material, we might do a mini review of material, but I'm not planning on spending, even close to the whole time doing just direct instruction. I'm focusing on doing that more at home with videos and other resources, and this is time for us to actually answer questions, work on practicing problems and doing some of that really practical stuff. There'll also be structured work time where students can work on stuff. This is where I'll be doing those check-ins, the whole class will have work time, and then while students are working, I can go around and check in so that the rest of the class isn't waiting while I'm checking in with other students. At home, this is where a lot of the typical lecture would happen. So I'll have video lessons or reading assignments available for students to watch and engage in, take some notes. They'll have some basic practice problems, kind of homework type stuff at home. That'll all be turned in online, so shouldn't have any problems with that. And then you might have some time where you're working on a project. So maybe we started it in class and you're going to finish it at home, or maybe you're going to start it at home and we'll finish it in class. And you also might spend some time taking assessments. I don't want to take a whole 100 or one chance to see each other a week for you to be taking a test. That doesn't seem like the best use of our time, so we might save some of those quizzes and things for at home, so that we make the best use of our time, because it's really valuable this year. Okay, honors geometry. So honors geometry this trimester, we'll be hoping to get through 4 units. We're going to cover foundations of geometry. This is going to cover points, lines, planes, vocab, kind of the way we have some special notation for geometry, and some basic problem solving. So this is the foundations that's going to set us up for the rest of the year. Unit 2, reasoning and proof. We're going to get into some basic structure of proofs, some of the logic that goes behind that, and that will also follow through later in the year. Parallel and perpendicular lines, we'll learn about properties of those lines, and then we'll also bring back that reasoning and proof and do some proofs involving parallel and perpendicular lines. Our last unit, transformations, we'll learn about rigid motions such as translations, rotations, and reflections, and then non-rigid motions of dilations. And there'll be lots of materials on those on Schoology. As always, mathematics is a study of patterns and relationships, and so we're going to be talking about those big key ideas in all of those units, but we'll also just be practicing some general problem solving throughout the whole course. So we'll have kind of big picture goals and then unit goals as well. Materials and grades. We have some required materials this year. You need to have access to some sort of device. Computer, Chromebook, an iPad could work. A phone is not ideal. Obviously, it can work in a pinch if necessary, but if you're planning on getting all of your course material done on a phone, that's going to be really difficult, and there might be some functionality that we lose. The district does have devices available, so if you have not already been issued a school device, please contact the technology department to get access to some sort of Chromebook or iPad from them so that you have the full functionality to complete the course well. You'll need Schoology access. So pretty much all of our resources will be housed in Schoology. That's just going to make it a little bit more smooth to have some days online and some days in person if all of our resources are on Schoology. So you need to be able to access that any given school day. You'll want a notebook or binder, even though you'll be watching a lot of videos on Schoology and that's how you'll get your instruction. It's still really helpful to take handwritten notes. It's going to be a great study resource and reference. And we just know that when you write things down, that tends to help you remember them better. So still, you should have a notebook or a 3-ring binder with loose leaf paper and pens and pencils to take notes. You also will need access to some sort of graphing calculator. Now, this could be a physical graphing calculator that you actually have at home, or it could be using other technology apps. There are a variety of apps for both Android and Apple devices that are free that emulate a TI-83 or TI-84 calculator. And there's also the MCA website, which has a web-based calculator as well that you can access. I'm going to have a calculator document on my Schoology page that lists those different app options and websites you can use. So as the course is starting, I recommend that students find that PDF and figure out which options work best for them. They don't need to use all of the apps or all of the options, but they should be able to find at least one option that they feel comfortable using throughout the year on their homework. Grades. This year we're going to have your grades on a point-based system, and all points will be equal. So categories are unweighted, and this is just to help allow as things change. We know that this year could have lots of transitions between hybrid and distance and in-person learning, and those might not happen at the trimester level, but might happen in between trimesters. So as we have to change our instruction to go with that, we wanted to have an unweighted system. So we'll have assignments, assessments, and projects as our main learning kind of measurements. Assignments, those are things like homework, notes checks, more daily work. Assessments, that looks more like a quiz or a test sort of format and is more of a big picture. Did you learn the material in this section or in this unit or in this trimester? And then we'll be utilizing projects as well for students to demonstrate their knowledge and creativity a little bit. Devices, attendance, and textbooks. Exciting. Devices, all students will need to bring their district-issued or personal device to class each time we meet. Again, for safety reasons, it's just going to be easier instead of me passing back and having students turn in homework and having multiple people touching the same paper and possibly having some contamination. We're going to turn things in using Schoology. And so as you're coming to class, it's important to have a device that you can access Schoology on so that you can follow along with activities and work on homework during class as work time is given. Attendance will be taken every day that students are in class with me using traditional methods, and then online attendance is still being determined by the district. Textbooks. Honors geometry won't have a textbook that we follow strictly. There is an online textbook available, and there will be notes packets that are given out that we'll follow and use. Intro to Statistics will have a physical book option and also online textbook access. Same for AP Statistics. Lastly, accessing materials, contacting me. So all material will be given through Schoology. A great resource is A Week at a Glance. So every week there'll be a new weekly folder, and that will have at the top of it a Week at a Glance page. If you click on that, that'll give you kind of a rundown of what's going on in that week, what are the main activities and things that students need to be doing, what are the learning goals and objectives that need to be met that week. Also in that weekly folder might be some of the assignments and assessments, links and videos that Week at a Glance mentions. So read the Week at a Glance first, and then you can look at the documents and links below that to guide you as what you need to do each day. Contacting me, easiest way is email. My email is syvrudk@isd199.org. I check that regularly and try and respond as quickly as possible. If you are a student, messaging me on Schoology works great as well. I check that pretty regularly. And then the school phone number also works, but I would only get a call on this if I was in my classroom at the time. If you email me after the school day is over, I might still respond in the evening from home, but I wouldn't be able to answer the phone at that time. Couple quick notes before we're done for today. Just want to mention, I understand that we're learning in a pandemic. I understand that changes circumstances at home. You might have more people at home using devices than usual, and there might be all sorts of extenuating circumstances that come from that. I'm more than willing to work with you and accommodate you in a reasonable way. The main thing that I need is just communication. So the more you can communicate what's going on with your circumstances, and if you might need more time, or if using a certain technology tool isn't working for you or something like that, I'm happy to come up with a plan to help. We just need to communicate through that. So please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. We want you to be successful, and we know that things are tricky right now, so we will help make whatever we can do work for you. Last slide. Change is coming. We know that this is a weird year. Our learning mode could change, and so we'll be changing with it. This is also our first year teaching in a hybrid mode. None of us have experience doing this, so we're going to try things and do our best to make this the best learning environment we can. But if something I'm trying that I think might be great isn't as great as I wanted it to be, I'll change it and I'll let you guys know. I'll communicate via Schoology. That will be my main line of communication, but I also might send out a class-wide email using Infinite Campus every once in a while as well. So please check email regularly, check Schoology for information, but I'll let you know if something changes. And please let me know if something changes. Thank you for watching this video and have a great day.